There was a beatdown in Boston yesterday afternoon, a super thumping on Super Sunday. The New York Knicks beat down the Boston Celtics 111 to 89 and retook sole possession of first place in the Atlantic Division and sole possession of second place in the Eastern Conference playoff standings. Jalen Brunson scored 31 points. Josh Hart added another 19 points to help the New York Knicks beat the cold shooting Celtics this past Sunday. Karl Anthony Towns had 11 points and 10 rebounds, and the Knicks never trailed over the last 42 minutes of the game. Mikal Bridges had 14 points and recently acquired Grand Theft Jose Alvarado debuted with 12 points and rounded out the double-digit scorers for the New York Knicks, who shot at 14 for 45, 40% from the three-point land. Boston, on the other hand, shot 37% from the field and was a putrid 7 of 41, 17% from behind the arc. Jose Alvarado, who the Knicks acquired from the New Orleans Pelicans after trading Gershon Yabusele to the Chicago Bulls, at 12 points in 25 minutes on 5 of 12 shooting from the floor, and he finished the game with 2 steals on the night. The Knicks had 18 deflections as a team against the Celtics, and Alvarado alone accounted for 6 of those 18 deflections. The New York Knicks now hold a 2-1 season lead over the Boston Celtics, with the 4th and final regular season meeting coming at the Mecca, MSG, April 9th. If the playoffs began today, the Knicks would own the tiebreaker and thus the East number 2 seed over the Celtics as both teams fight to make up ground against the conference best Pistons. Speaking of the Pistons, I ain't gonna lie. What was so impressive about this game was after coming off a 38-point thumping at the hand of the Detroit Pistons this past Friday night in Motown, for them to go into Boston, put on their big boy pants, and let it be known, like, listen, that was just a blip on the radar. 9 out of 10. After we lost 9 of 11, now we have won 9 out of 10. And we are staying on track to be hopefully the number 1 seed, but definitely nothing less than the number 2 seed in these upcoming NBA playoffs. Here's a stat for you. After sweeping the regular season series last year, and I'm talking about the Boston Celtics, the Celtics are just a combined 3-6 in the last 9 games, and that's including the playoff series last year and the 3 regular season games this year. To me, 9 games is pretty much a good sample size that there should be some concern in Beantown if they have to go against my New York Knickerbockers. The Knicks are a difficult matchup for them, even though they've got Vucevic or whatever the hell his name is, the dude from Chicago. Even though they got the dude from Chicago, we can go 10 deep. And it's not just about depth, it's about quality depth. Yes, Jaylen Brown is having a career year in the absence of Jason Tatum. He has brought this Boston Celtic team way beyond what anybody thought they were going to have this season. Even so much so that there's some type of conversation had that if Jason Tatum is indeed fully 100% recovered from his Achilles injury, which would be less than a year, we're approaching the year, about 7-8 months, but less than a year from when he first tore his Achilles. There's been some talk about, you know what, maybe we should just tell Tatum, yo, just fall back this season, because whatever's going to be is going to be, because Jay Brown, Jay Boogie, Jay Hairspray, Jay Beijing got us on the way. Mm, well, I don't know. I mean, that's for the Celtic faithful to discuss amongst themselves. But the combination of our size, our shooting, our speed, and our star power has to be enough to put the Boston Celtics on notice. Now, the following is going to be an excerpt from an article that I read in the New York Post, penned by Stephon Bondi. And the following, and this is about Jordan Clarkson. Yeah, some comedy relief. Hopefully, it's just him venting his frustration outwardly and not becoming a problem in the locker room. Knicks veteran Jordan Clarkson went profane at a fan on Twitter and reminded another about his lack of minutes. Get out your mouth, please. Clarkson replied to a fan who was calling for Tyler Colett to win back minutes because Clarkson don't want it. To another fan who asked for Bulls guard Colin Sexton to join the Knicks because imagine him with Clarkson minutes. Clarkson replied on a social media platform, "Stop saying my minutes. I never had minutes." This seems like it's a little bit personal. It's a little bit personal. Not so much toward the fan, but he's rethinking, yo, I took the veteran minimum to come to New York. Thought I was gonna be an integral part coming off the bench. And now I got Tyler Colett getting minutes over me. I got Landry Shamet getting major minutes over me. I got Jose Alvarado coming in and getting major minutes over me. And I got these mother effers online talking about my minutes. Excuse my French. Nigga, I ain't never had no minutes. I continue. Clarkson, who is 33, signed as a free agent in the summer and is averaging career lows in minutes, points, and shot attempts. Even with Deuce McBride out for the remainder of the regular season, the acquisition of Jose Alvarado means Clarkson could still play sparingly. He played just 7.5 minutes in Sunday's victory over the Boston Celtics. For me, it's just been a fluctuation of play, really. In and out the lineups, DNPs, said Clarkson, who's had 4 healthy DNPs since late January. He told the New York Post recently. Sometimes you're getting 5 minutes in the game here and there, but it's a whole new process for me, a whole new role, offensively and defensively. They're asking me to do things defensively as well. And then offensively, I got to figure it out and make stuff out of what comes in the offense in terms of opportunities. It's not like I'm featured in the offense or anything. I'm playing hard. I'm crashing the glass, figuring out things, little things to be effective on that end. So it's a whole new thing for me. But I'll continue to be a pro, stay in the gym, and work on my craft and keep it going. You know, that's actually the most diplomatic answer that you could expect from someone, like I said, that was a veteran that's known to be a microwave off the bench and was actually brought into New York for that role, and things have just not worked out. And that's primarily because he hasn't been deemed to be a fit on the defensive end. And Landry Shamet, especially once he came back from injury, he's put up more of a force defensively, and he kind of meshes with that unit more than Jordan Clarkson. So especially when we're going through that stretch of 9 of 11, our defense was the major cause of that. So if you need to, bring everything around, look at it this way. In the last 10 games, I believe one of the stats that I've read is New York Knicks are number 1 in defensive efficiency at like 100 point game. 100 points per game, something to that effect. And with the potential liabilities that we have as a team, with Brunson at the point and Cat at the 5, you need the other 3, especially on any lineup that they're in. You need the other 3 to be exceptional at defense, and you can need to trust them and make sure they don't have any lapses. So considering all that, can't really complain. Jordan Clarkson, I mean, I understand his frustration, and it could be worse. He could be team downfall. He could be team turmoil right now, and he's not. At least not now. So kudos to that. And you know, the bro, he'll get on his feet. He just got to make sure that right now the way it's looking is in order for him to earn his minutes or earn more minutes into the rotation or earn his way back in the rotation, number one, somebody has to get out. And number two, when you do have those spot minutes, you have to make sure that your impact is being felt on a defensive end. Offense, listen, offense is going to happen, but if you make sure that you're a stopper on the defensive end, it seems like Mike Brown is always going to give you minutes. Now, another thing that I came across of when I was researching going over this game is the fact that the Boston Celtics, their media, bunch of crybabies, bunch of excuse makers. Like, take this for instance. Following the game, one of the Celtics announcers on the broadcast sounded like he had some sour grapes amid the team's loss. Tip-off today was 12:30, and hey, maybe that contributed to the sluggishness from the Boston Celtics. Forgot to mention that, by the way, this team has not played a game all season before 3:30 in whatever time zone they were in. Today's tip-off was 12:30, the announcer said. On another post-game Celtics talk show, they suggested that one of the main reasons the team lost to the Knicks was because the Boston Celtics fans were not in attendance for the game due to the Super Bowl featuring the Patriots. Ain't that about a bull? When the Knicks were rolling, it was a little loud, like in terms of Knicks fans being in there. I was driving in today and I was stunned by the number of New York license plates I saw on the pike, the talk show host said. They're going to the Super Bowl, so all the Patriots fans were going to sell their tickets anyway. And it's like they just invaded the garden. It's like if you wasn't wearing a Drake Mace jersey, you was wearing a Jalen Brunson jersey. I'm sorry. If it comes down to, matter of fact, number one, if you're driving to the game and you're more concerned that you're paying closely attention to people's plates to see where they're from, and you see a lot of New York plates, I call BS. Because everybody know, if anything, if we going out of state, we get a rental. We ain't which car? We ain't driving our car to Boston. Maybe some do, but I doubt it. Number two, why? Y'all have won the Stanley Cups in the last couple years. Y'all won an NBA title a couple years ago. Y'all have won 6 championships, 6 Lombardi trophies in the last 25 years. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, they didn't get enough sleep, or they didn't have enough fan support. Listen, just face the fact that your team got their ass bust. Straight up. There's no crime in that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong at all. But for all the wah, the New York Knicks next game is against the Indiana Pacers. People are saying, oh, we're gonna have to deal with Zubac. Really? The Pacers are like 13 and 40. If we don't beat the Pacers, even if they got Zubac, even if they got all-star Pascal Siakam, they've won 13 games this season. I know this is not the fully healthy team that eliminated us last year in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, but every time we see the Pacers, it should be on site. Doesn't matter who's on the court. We see that Pacers logo, we see those Pacers uniform, it got to be on site. We don't got time. We don't got time to be messing around, dropping games just because. Listen, in this 3 out of 4 game gauntlet before the All-Star break, we are currently 1-1. We lost against Detroit. We went into Boston. We beat Boston. We got Indiana, and we got the Sixers on the second half of a back-to-back. We don't got time to be playing no games. We got to be at least 2-2, or better yet, we need to be 3-1 because the Sixers, they've gotten us twice, and Sixers ain't about that. And plus, they got the dope fiend on suspension. No, I'm just kidding. But they don't have Paul George, even though I like Paul George has been actually a factor in their victories over us. But they're one man short, and we're one man stronger. Charge! This episode on Smitty's Corner, we're going to talk about Keith Hernandez returning to the New York Metropolitan booth for another 3 years. Yes. We have a continuation of G, K, R, Gary, Keith, and Ron Darling. I'll get to Ron Darling at the very end of this. Keith Hernandez agreed to a 3-year contract to return to the booth, with the deal being finalized this past Thursday via Mike Puma of the New York Post. In October, Hernandez revealed to John Heyman and Joe Sherman that he wanted a 3-year contract with the network SNY, and that he was not ready to give up his analyst gig just yet. I'm not ready to retire, Hernandez said on the show podcast. If I do another 3 years, they've always been 3-year deals, and then the 3-year deal would take me to 75. I just turned 72. I am ready to do another 3. Hernandez has been a key part of the SNY broadcast team, along with play-by-play man Gary Cohen and former Mets teammate Ron Darling since the 2006 season. That's great news. It's great news that Keith Hernandez will remain in the booth. Tell you the truth, I ain't gonna lie. He's 72. It doesn't seem like he should be 72. But then at the same time, we're coming up on the 40th anniversary, 40-year anniversary of our last World Championship, our last World Series title in 86. And that means he was 32 back then. Oh, Mex. So Tex-Mex was the man. But yeah, darn, 72. So how old is this cocksucker? Excuse my French. Ron Darling. Ron Darling got to be in his 60s, right? Only Ron Darling can get me to actually just come out my mouth with such inflammatory rhetoric. I will talk about Matter of fact, I'll talk about him now. Everybody knows that I hate Ron Darling. I hate what he stands for. I hate his image. I hate his voice. I hate his stature. I hate his suit. I hate his tie. I hate the fact that he's so closely affiliated with the Mets. I hate Ron Darling. Not the facade that he gives, the fact that as a very impressionable 9-10-year-old man, 9-10-year-old child, I was on the number 7 train. I used to take the 7 train daily during 4th grade because me and my mom, we lived in Flushing. And yeah, if you're saying I've said this story before, guess what? I'm saying it again. Ron Darling was amongst players that used to take the 7 train back in the 80s to Shea Stadium on game day. My thing is, if you're taking the number 7 train in the middle of rush hour, if you're taking the number 7 train during the hours in which a lot of kids are traveling from school to home, and you're a part of a soon-to-be World Series team, do you not think you're going to have some impressionable children who want just a little bit of your time, to want to say, you know what, that's Ron Darling. This is before the time of cell phones. Before the time people wasn't walking around with Polaroid cameras on them. Some people just wanted to say hi. Some people wanted it for their mental picture. Some people might have wanted an autograph. Not me, because guess what? I have never been awestruck by celebrities at all. And tell you the truth, I didn't even think Ron Darling was a celebrity. I knew who he was. He was a starting pitcher of the New York Mets. But he was what? The number 3 starter, number 4 starter. We had Doc Gooden, the ace. We had Bobby Ojeda, the vet. Then we had Ron Darling. We had Sid Hernandez. So Ron Darling was maybe 3 at best. 4, wasn't like he was coming out the bullpen like Roger McDowell, like Jesse Orosco. He wasn't the say hey, well, not the say hey kid, but he wasn't the kid Gary Carter. He wasn't the straw that stirred to drink, stout strawberry. He wasn't even Kevin Mitchell. Dare I say, he wasn't even Juan Samuel, Kevin Elster. He damn sure wasn't Mookie Wilson. He was Ron Darling, dude from Hawaii that made it into the Major League Baseball and hooked on with the Mets. Where he had a chance to be the ace, guess what? He failed miserably. I was so happy when we got his butt out of there and sent him, or he left to go to Oakland. But yet he comes back to ride on the coattails of exquisite Mets such as Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling. That's what I think of Ron Darling. You know why I'm talking about the Mets right now, even though I'm not telling you anything about the actual team? Because Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach, yes, if you don't know how he looks, please check my archives where me and Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach actually chopped it up right here on this platform to talk about the demise, the disintegration of the New York Mets the past season. And if that's not good enough for you, please check out the current episode that's out of HGF, Hidden Gems Football, in which Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach gave his prognostication on who he thought was going to win the Super Bowl. But with all that being said, the reason I am talking about this, the reason I gave Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach his very own look at that smile. Look at that smile. So happy to be wearing the Grimace uniforms. But the reason I gave Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach his own segment, his own topic, his own theme song is because I've been neglecting Mr. Smitty. Mr. Smitty does not like wrestling. And I've been dedicated to wrestling for the last couple episodes. Why? Because that's my fan base right now. And because, I'm a wrestling fanatic. I'm a wrestling historian, so to speak. It is quite ironic that I've just hijacked this segment that was talking about the Mets to talk about my affinity for wrestling. But the reason why I chose to talk about the New York Mets and specifically Keith Hernandez and my hate for Ron Darling is to elongate this segment and to give Smitty something that he could grasp to, because he doesn't care about basketball. The Giants aren't playing. He doesn't particularly care about the Jets, and he's not a wrestling fan. But he does crave, he does bleed blue and orange, representing the New York Mets. So I said, you know what? Let me throw Smitty a bone. I actually had another idea I was going to do, but this news fell in my lap. Pitchers and catchers. Have they reported? They should, because what? It's February 9th. Spring training games start in about 2 weeks. The Mets, we got Bo Bichette, we got Freddie Peralta, we got a whole bunch of new players that has replaced the old core that was rotten to the core, to tell you the truth. Well, at least Jeff McNeil was. Pete Alonso, I think we should have probably tried to do everything in our ability to keep him, but I understand why he chose greener pastures and we allowed him to go. Edwin Diaz, that mother effer, we gave you your own theme song. You think the Dodgers are going to care about you just like we care about you or we cared about you? We allowed you to play the WBC, mess up your knee, and paid you for the rest of the year. So you owed it to us to come back, which you did. But I think you owed it to us more because we made you into the star that you have become. And now we will relish the opportunity to every time we face you to batter you to a pulp. Yes, yes, yes. So that is my Smitty's Corner. That is my hot stove edition of Mets announcement table. And play us out, Smitty. This take might be a little bit controversial, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I have better things to do. But this man that you see on your screen for my YouTube viewers is Jake-Asman. Yes, host and creator of the Jake-Asman Show, which is a New York Jets podcast. And you will wonder, well, okay, why do you ask if Jake-Asman is a New York Jets troll? Because every time I tune into him, either via his podcast audio version, via his YouTube channel, via his spots on ESPN New York, it seems like all he has to come out his mouth is Jet slander, and not so much Jet slander, but more specifically Aaron Glenn character assassination. Yeah, I get it. Was he bad this first season as Jets head coach? Yes. Was he historically bad as Jet head coach? Yes. But it seems like there's a little bit something more underneath the surface. I don't know what it is. I mean, every time him and Mike Tannenbaum co-host the show, I think uh Football in New York, football morning, Sunday morning football in New York, something to that effect on ESPN New York radio every Sunday. And he attempted to take Mike Tannenbaum to task over Aaron Glenn's shortcomings based on the fact that, yes, Mike Tannenbaum was a part of the group that the Jets utilized to facilitate their head coaching search. And they came up with Aaron Glenn. So, yeah, does Mike Tannenbaum have a little bit bias in it? Yes, but it was borderline disrespectful. And I want to know, what does Jake-Asman have against Aaron Glenn? Now, maybe I am mistaken, and maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance, which I probably am, because up until this season, I didn't know who Jake-Asman was. But did he have the same energy back in the day with Robert Saleh? Matter of fact, I'll put him to the side. Did he have the same energy with Brett Ulbrich? when he was the interim coach and looked over such a horrendous season. We only won 3 games with Brett Albrick, or Brick, as Aaron Rodgers used to call him. Yeah, me and Brick got a good relationship. Utter disrespect. There's ways to be critical against the Jets. And trust me, I am not the type to say that the Jets do no wrong. I am up to here. Yes, up to here, off the screen, with rage and furious anger and venom for the New York Jets, for Woody Johnson in particular. But there's a way that you can express your malcontent with head coaches that don't seem so personal. It doesn't matter if now I'm going to contradict myself for a minute, but matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. So, is it perhaps that Aaron Glenn had such an adversarial um, relationship from the jump against the media that was covering the Jets? Perhaps. But as a media member, say the truth, especially not so much to get access, but to call things right down the middle, you're not supposed to be biased. On top of that, matter of fact, besides that, now you can choose to be personal, or you can choose to use the tax that another podcast I listen to for Jets fans, the Badlands crew. They are critical. But they are also respectful. They will let you know that yes, what Aaron Glenn did or the way he was handling the media was unacceptable. And these are people that actually have media credentials. Not saying that Assman doesn't, because he does, but there was less of a tinge of personal animus toward Aaron Glenn. Like, did Aaron Glenn piss in your Reedies one night? Did Aaron Glenn take your woman and have her way with her? Did Aaron Glenn catch you in a a dark alley and have his way with you? The way, like,
Glenn goes from here. The man who broke the story, Aaron Wilson, he's going to join us. Lot to talk about. It's the Jake-Asman Show, and it starts right now.
Let the organization down. Let the players down. And that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Mugier tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake-Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game and everything.
the reason I chose to show you that clip was it to me that's personal. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Caricature? Perhaps. But why his eyes look like that? I know that's supposed to be Woody in the background. Don't let go of the rope. And that's Ass Man supposed to be yelling at him on the side, right? Like, I don't know. It's something just rubs me the wrong way. I'm going to be on the prowl, looking and following the Ass Man during the off season to see if he keeps the same energy, just in case somebody else inside the Jet hierarchy proves themselves to be worthy of the scorn that he has given Aaron Glenn so far. Yes, I know. Frank Reich is the new offensive coordinator. The way they did um, the prior offensive coordinator wasn't great. Hank Engstrand, it wasn't great. And tell you the truth, I don't I don't blame Engstrand for saying, you know what, I'm out of here. Like either you're gonna give me the reins or you're not. You're not gonna have me as the quasi offensive coordinator and then take my ability to call plays. I get it. Having Aaron Glenn actually be the defensive coordinator by default, as in, all right, he's gonna call the plays and have somebody as just a figurehead on the defensive side. Guess what? You got hired to be you got hired because of your defensive acumen, which okay, it was all right in Detroit, but um, it's not like Detroit ever had the number one defense. But fine, you end the season off like this? No, They're not going to say, you know what, you're going to be able to start all over. Yeah, you can start all over, but the onus is going to be on you, Mr. CEO. Guess what? You can CEO your way out the door. So whatever decisions they make, whether good or bad, let's say Darren Muji fumbles this cachet of draft picks that they have on this upcoming NFL draft. I want to see if that same energy is kept with caricatures and and pure scorn going toward Darren Muji that's been kept ready on cock, ready upon the deck for Aaron Glenn. Ass man. Yeah, somebody's on your ass, man. And that's Mike Steph.
Salty thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the world of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in.
This is funny because I've actually chosen to do this episode the reverse. Usually I have the intro, duh, at the beginning. Then I put up my theme song, put my banner up, put my picture up, put my cover page up, and then I get into topics of the day. This time I decided to go straight for the jugular and give y'all the topics of the day. And then that affords me this time to talk about whatever I want and to do a little bit of one-on-one with you, the viewers. If y'all didn't know by now, yes, I am Mike Steph, and this is the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Thank you, yes, you, the viewer, yes, you, the listener, for making me the podcast y'all choose to view and the podcast y'all choose to listen to. This here episode counts as my season finale. Yes, my season finale. Season 3 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph has been very interesting. Have I been as, consistent as I have been the first 2 seasons? No. But I think the quality, dare I say, has been up to par, has been equal, if not, even maybe more so. February has come, February is here, and longtime listeners and viewers of said podcast know that the month of February, I take a sabbatical. Pretty much, I end the season, and then I pick back up first or second week of March for various reasons. Number one, shoot, this is like the this is like the wasteland of sports. But I'm not really so much a sports podcast. I'm more of a vibes podcast. I talk my wrestling, talk about football, basketball, baseball, talk music, talk politics. And I've kind of narrowed my focus the last couple months, so to speak. But first and foremost, and that's not even really the reason. Usually, after the Super Bowl, the beginning of the beginning of February is very hard for me. Um, this year made 5 years that um, I lost. Me and my family have lost our oldest son, Nikai Dayon Lewis Stephens, and this year in particular has felt really off to us, to be blunt, because the year that we lost him, I got the phone call 5:35 p.m. February 9th, 2021, and that was the year after. Well, February 8th, 2021. I'm sorry, and that was the day after the Super Bowl. That was the day after the Bucks dominated the Chiefs in the COVID Super Bowl, and so every year after that, usually the day after the Super Bowl is very melancholy. This just time of year is very hard for me and my family, or my family and I, to be uh, grammatically correct. This year, the Super Bowl and his anniversary of his passing landed on the same day, and never mind about the fact that the Super Bowl itself was boring. You want to hear more of my thoughts on that? Check out HGF this week, where we have our own season finale of Hidden Gems football. Um, but it was one of those. It was a day that I just. It was like I was. I wouldn't say I was going through the motions. The first half of the day, I had to make some runs. I had to make some errands. Um, went to see my cousin Shatan. Give him a belated birthday slice cake. I mean, birthday cake slice. Saw my Aunt Tracy. Chopped it up with Aunt Tracy for maybe about 2 hours, just about various things. It was a nice conversation. Then I had to go to the homie, pick up some stuff to take to my aunt's crib, and which is also hard because that's my late brother. I had to, like, it was just a lot of emotions going on. And then lastly, stopped, picked up the lovely Mia. We went to Wegmans, got a sandwich ring, got a cake to commemorate um, 5 years for Nikai. And I'm watching the game, and just like, I mean, first of all, the game was the game. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. And it just didn't, like I said, just everything just seemed off, which, to be honest, is to be expected, you know? So after the holiday season and after the lead up to the day, I'm very drained, both emotionally, physically. So that's first and foremost why I'm like, nah, I gotta take a break. Secondly, February also has my marriage anniversary. Yes, me and Mrs. U. This year be 27 years married. Next month will be 32 years together. I will be 50 this year. So that's more than three-fourths of my life I've been with this woman. But she's the woman in my life. She's the love of my life. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So we usually do our anniversary thing, in which we're going to do again this year. We both take the day off. I mean, both take the week off, um, which is President's Week, and we handle business. Then coming back from that, then my wife's birthday is like a month, well, about 3 weeks after our anniversary. So it's very jam packed. It's very emotionally um, charged, so to speak. And with all that on my plate, I choose to take a break from the podcast. So those who always want to know why you take a break in February, that's why. And this year will be like none other. Yes, I'm going to take a break, and I will be back for season 4. Yes, season 4 will be a season like none other. I got some tricks up my sleeve. I've started unveiling some of them over the last couple episodes, just in presentation, just in channel structure, so forth. And I hope you'd have like the improvements. But starting season 4, we're gonna hit that road running. We're gonna hit that ground running. One thing though, I am going to say, and I appreciate Larry Anderson, the new IWA heavyweight champion, Larry Anderson, for joining me last week for the episode. And I will be at the Nut House on February 22nd, fighting for the Wolfpack. And that, the reason I say that, not only is to promote and support what they have going on in the IWA, but also to let y'all know that even though I am going to be on sabbatical, please do like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, because just like I vlogged the last time I was at the Nut House last month, guess what? I'm going to vlog this month. I'm going to vlog this event. So yeah, it's not going to be a formal thing like this, but if you're familiar with the last vlog, that will be coming out before season 4 is officially on the way. And if everything lines up the way I want it to line up, trust and believe the season 4 premiere will be splendid. There's something that did not take place last year that we got to make time up. I mean, got to make up for. And I believe having it as my season premiere would be not only season premiere, but on location. I'm probably giving too much out, but best believe it is going to be fantastic. Yes. Yes. But with all that being said, I have one question before I get out of here. Am I the LL Cool J of podcasting? I know you're probably like, huh? What the are you talking about? Wait. When I say, am I the LL Cool J of podcasting? Been doing this for 7 years. Truly independent. No hidden backdoor connection to bigger entities. Truly from the bottom. Still at the bottom, but gradually digging my way up. LL Cool J has the confidence that's needed to continue being the best at what he does in his head. LL Cool J was at the pinnacle of hip hop for years at one time. He's the one who actually coined the phrase the GOAT, greatest of all time. He made that a thing. And a lot of people try to downplay his place, his stature, or try to say that he takes too much credit for what hip hop has done. Now, trust me, I am not going to say I created podcasting. No. I'm not going to say that at all. Tell you the truth, the godfather of the podcast, Combat Jack, he's actually the reason, he's actually the inspiration of it, saying, damn, I could do this. And I know to a certain degree, anybody can do this. Anybody can have a mic, a camera, a laptop, and just spew their salty thoughts. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the mentality that even when you quote unquote are past your prime, you still have that belief that you are numero uno, number one, best in the world at what I do, best in the world at what he does. All by myself, for good or bad. That's even a positive or a negative. It is what it is. To have that innate ability, the gift of gab. Somebody called me the silver tongued sociopath, which I love that. It's very, it has a unique ring to it. I no longer consider myself a sociopath anymore, but I appreciate the moniker. For someone to have the gift of gab, such as myself, and actually continue to get better with time, to continue to get better with age, to continue to get better with maturity, and to continue to be actually vulnerable and but yet assertive, vulnerable, but yet attainable, vulnerable, but yet discreet at the same time. I'm a totally different person than I was 7 years when I started podcasting. I'm a totally different person than almost 4 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, February 2023, when I started doing the YouTube thing. Dare I say I'm a better individual than I was back then. Dare I say, yeah, I think I just said it. But I was watching this video the other day. Matter of fact, I was watching this video today, and I can't do it because of copyright strikes or whatever. But there was a video of LL, right? Um, the video with him and Total. Who do you love? Oh, lounging, right? And saying how diabolical it was that LL was in the middle of. They said Murdoch Boulevard. There's no such thing as Murdoch Boulevard. Not in Queens. Talking about Farmers Boulevard. Get it right. And I'm a Brooklynite, and I even know that. Or Merrick Boulevard. No Murdoch Boulevard. Baisley Boulevard? Possibly, but not Murdoch Boulevard. Anyway, that how egregious it was that they allow LL to pour chocolate sauce on a lady's leg and lick it back in the 90s. Who do you love? Oh, some. Who do you love? Are you for sure? How diabolical it was that they allowed LL to get a shape up by still having a hat on. There's a reason why he keeps that hat on. Have you seen his noggin? For the uninitiated, I am 6 degrees separated from LL Cool J. Yes. I'm not gonna add it up for you. Just let's say I know a guy, I know a person who knows a person who knows a person who knows a person who knows a person who knew LL Cool J. And to this day, I swear I think I met LL Cool J when I was little. Before the LL that you see, before the LL you see on NCIS, before the LL you saw in Too Deep. I remember we was in the basement in Queens, South Jamaica to be a fact. And I don't know, there was some type of get together. And I remember there was a guy, there's a teenager back then that was playing with a lighter and trying to see how much he can burn himself without actually burning himself. And I heard somebody say, Todd. And then when I realized the connections that I just spelt out, I was like, you know what? Todd, duh. That was LL before he was LL. Y'all gonna put some respect on LL name. Just like he puts respect on his own name. Ladies love Cool J. And ladies love Big Mike. And that brings us to the end of a Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Once again, I'd like to appreciate each and every one of y'all for making me in the podcast the one y'all choose to view and the one you choose to listen to. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to leave y'all with one last thing before I get serious. Almost forgot because I'm scrolling down. I'm like, yo, I almost forgot to talk about this BS.
Trying to punch suck ass up, you fucking sucker.
Federal regulations prohibit the use of cellular networks during flight, the use of Wi-Fi to make video or voice calls.
Okay, that clip is. I think they were on the plane. It was Tony Yayo, Uncle Murder, and Jaru, and they actually end up having seats, as you can see, right in front, right behind each other, right? And the animosity from 20 years ago or over 20 years ago is still in effect, but the fact that dudes are like past 50 and I'm not going to speak on the intricacies of street stuff of that particular beat between Ja Rule and Murder Inc. and 50 and Southside Jamaica dudes. I'm not gonna speak on all that because it would just be from third hand, fourth hand, 100th hand conversation. But I'm quite sure right now, none of y'all are willing to throw down. And to literally film this is some sucker shit. It really is. Like y'all are well off. I'm not even gonna say y'all millionaires, but y'all are well off. Y'all not on the corner, y'all not on the block. Y'all really don't have. I don't think y'all have on-site beef. To me, this is just corny.
Trying to punch suck ass up, you fucking sucker.
Federal regulations prohibit the use of cellular networks during flight, the use of Wi-Fi to make video or voice calls.
Like, just it doesn't make any sense. I need a palate cleanser before I get into the rest.
I just did, and I pissed. Oh, you want to give me some? Bro, why you trying to be funny?
Yeah. All right. That wasn't really a palate cleanser. So, yeah. Anyway. I would check y'all later. About a month or so. Please check out the social medias, which is pretty much Instagram at Mike_Steph, STEPH, for the latest and when to expect the newest season of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast to commence. Please check out HGF, Hidden Gems Football, this week for our season finale. And yeah. Lastly, I'd like to thank each and everybody who reached out to us just to show us their support and console us during the hardest time for us every year, even though we have multiple. But yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here and I will see y'all probably in about a month. Till later.
With the first pick in the 2016 BGR NBA Draft, the Nets select Nikai Lewis. BGR Sports. I'm here with Nikai Lewis, player of the game. He scores 31 points in the victory against Wichita State. Tell us about your performance tonight.
My team was just shooting me the ball. I felt hot at the beginning of the game. I was trying to get the ball up, moving around with my team into the game. Then late in the game, I seen an opening, so I just took charge.
All right, your team is now 2-0. Talk about your team's performance in the first 2 games.
I mean, the first 2 games, I told my teammates, let's just push it. Every chance we get at fast break, make every layup, don't cause a lot of turnovers, and just took over.
All right, this summer you won a championship. Now you're in the NCAA 2-0. What else is planned for you in this future? What are your goals?
Well, my goals in the future right now is to get ready for this UPS job and to be able to be a father, good father at that. So, we'll take it one day at a time.
All right, congratulations. I'm here with Nikai Lewis, player of the game, 31 points against Wichita State. Congratulations and thank you.